They sliced open their tent from the inside. They ran into -40-degree weather, half naked. And what killed them, nobody can explain. By the end of this video, you'll know every disturbing detail of the Dyatlov Pass incident. The deaths, the evidence, the theories, and why after 66 years, this mystery still haunts investigators. Because here's what you need to understand. This isn't just another camping accident. This is 9 experienced hikers, all dead, under impossible circumstances. Some died of hypothermia. That makes sense. But 3 had injuries equal to a car crash. No external wounds. 1 was missing her tongue. 2 were missing their eyes. And the Soviet government, they shut down the investigation in 3 months, called it a compelling natural force, then classified the files for decades. So what really happened on Dead Mountain that night in 1959? Let's find out. January 23, 1959. 10 hikers left Sverdlovsk, Soviet Russia. Their destination, Mount Otorten, a peak in the northern Ural Mountains. The trip was planned by Igor Dyatlov, 23 years old, a radio engineering student, experienced skier, the kind of guy you'd trust with your life. He assembled a team of 8 friends, all students, ages 20 to 24, 2 women, 7 men, plus one 38-year-old sports instructor named Semyon Zolotaryov. These weren't amateurs. They had grade 2 hiking certification. The route they planned, 190 miles, category 3 difficulty, the highest certification available in the Soviet Union. To earn it, you needed to traverse 300 kilometers in the harshest conditions. They chose February, the worst month, on purpose. Think about that. They wanted the challenge. They were prepared. They knew what they were doing. On January 28, 1 hiker turned back. Yuri Yudin. He had joint pain, a flare-up that saved his life. The remaining 9 continued. They took photos, wrote in their diaries. Everything seemed normal. February 1st, their last day. They were supposed to camp lower down the mountain, near the tree line. But they made a decision. They pitched their tent higher, on the slope of Kaletsiekal. You know what that name means in the local Mansi language. Dead Mountain. Let's jump ahead. February 20, 1959. The hikers were supposed to send a telegram 3 weeks after they left. They never sent it. The sports club at their university started to worry. February 26. A search party found the tent, half buried in snow. And here's where it gets strange. The tent was sliced open. From the inside, multiple cuts, made with knives. Inside the tent, everything was still there. Boots, winter coats, food sliced on a plate, their equipment neatly arranged. A seamstress examining the tent confirmed it. The hikers didn't flee because someone attacked them. They cut their way out. Now picture this. You're in -30 to -40 degrees Celsius weather. That's -22 to -40 Fahrenheit. Hurricane force winds, heavy snow, and you cut your way out of your tent. Leave your boots behind. Leave your coats. And run. Why would experienced winter campers do that? The search party followed footprints in the snow. 9 sets, leading down the slope, toward a forest 1.5 kilometers away. About a mile. The footprints weren't running. They were walking at a normal pace, Some were barefoot. Some wore only socks. February 27, 1.5 kilometers from the tent. Under a large cedar tree. 2 bodies. Yuri Doroshenko, 21 years old. Yuri Krivonishenko, 24 years old. Both wearing only underwear. One had a single torn sock. The other wore nothing on his feet. They had tried to make a fire. The remains were still there. Both had burned hands. Degree burns. The kind you don't get if you fall asleep. The cedar tree above them. Branches were broken off. Up to 5 meters high. Someone had climbed it. In bare feet. In a blizzard. Why? Were they looking for something? The tent maybe. Or something else. Next to the bodies. Pieces of their clothing. Cut off. Not removed normally. Cut. Same day. Between the cedar tree and the tent. 3 more bodies. Igor Dyatlov, 300 meters from the tree. Zinaida Kalmogorova, 630 meters from the tree. Rustam Slobodin, 480 meters from the tree. All 3 were found in positions suggesting they were trying to return to the tent. All 3 had hypothermia, but Slobodin had something else. A small skull fracture. The medical examiner said it wasn't life-threatening. He died from freezing, but someone or something hit him in the head. Dyatlov. He had bruises on his knuckles. Both hands. The kind you get from hand-to-hand combat. He was missing a tooth. Blood on his lips. Kalmogorova had a strange bruise on her waist. Shaped like a baton. 5 bodies found. All died from hypothermia, but with weird injuries that didn't quite fit. The searchers kept looking. 4 hikers were still missing. Here's what's terrifying. It took more than 2 months to find the last 4. 2 months. May 4, 1959. Snow had melted. A Mansi hunter discovered what looked like a snow den. 75 meters deeper into the forest from the cedar tree. In a ravine. Inside, 4 bodies. Under 4 meters of snow. These 4 were better dressed than the others. They were wearing clothing from the hikers who died first. Yuri Krivonishenko's pants. Pieces of other people's jackets. They had tried to survive. They had built a den. Lined it with branches. Used clothing from their dead friends. But something went horribly wrong. Alexander Kolvatov, 25 years old. Broken nose. Open wound behind his ear. Deformed neck. Cause of death, hypothermia. Nikolai Thiboksbrignol, 24 years old. Massive skull fracture. The temporal bone was shattered. Extensions to the frontal and sphenoid bones. Pieces of bone driven into his brain. Blood everywhere internally. Semyon Zolotaryov, 38 years old. 5 fractured ribs on the right side. 2 on the left. His eyes were missing. Completely gone. Lyudmila Dubinina, 21 years old. This is where it gets absolutely horrifying. 6 ribs fractured on the right side. 4 on the left. Massive internal hemorrhaging. Her heart's right atrium was crushed. Her eyes were missing. Her tongue was gone. Part of her lips. Facial tissue. A fragment of her skull. The forensic expert, Boris Vozrojdeny, wrote something in his report. Something chilling. The force required to cause these injuries would be extremely high. Comparable to a car crash. But here's the problem. No external wounds. No bruising on the skin. No cuts. Nothing. It was as if they had been subjected to extreme pressure from all sides. At once, Vozrozhdeny also said this. These injuries could not have been caused by another human being. The force was too strong. Wait, it gets stranger. Clothing samples were sent for radiological analysis. May 18, 1959. The results: contamination, beta radiation, on specific pieces of clothing. Krivonishenko's brown sweater, 9,900 beta particle decays per minute. His pants that Dubinina was wearing, 5,000 decays per minute. Zolotaryov's clothes, 5,200 decays per minute. Background radiation, about 50 decays per minute. These readings were 100 times higher than normal. The report stated this clearly. This contamination should not exist under normal conditions, unless the hikers had been in a radioactively contaminated environment. The prosecutor leading the investigation, Lev Ivanov, received this report. And the next day, May 28, 1959, he closed the case. So what happened? Let's go through the main theories, one by one. Theory 1, avalanche. This is the official Russian government explanation as of 2020. A slab avalanche. The slope where they camped was only 23 degrees. Usually, you need 30 degrees for an avalanche. But in 2021, Swiss scientists from EPFL and ETH Zurich ran simulations. They found it was possible. A delayed slab avalanche, caused by wind-blown snow accumulation. The cut they made in the slope to pitch the tent. An unusual topography. This could explain the tent being cut from inside as they felt pressure. The severe injuries without external wounds. Why they fled down the slope. But here's what it doesn't explain. The radiation. The missing soft tissue. The footprints walking calmly away from the tent. Why experienced hikers would camp there in the first place. Theory 2, military testing. The area was known for Soviet military activity. Witnesses 50 kilometers away reported seeing orange spheres in the sky. February 1, 1959. The same night, parachute mines were being tested in the region. These mines detonate in midair. They create massive internal injuries, with little external trauma. Sound familiar? The radiation could be from weapon testing. The government classified the case, restricted the area for years. In 1990, the lead investigator Lev Ivanov admitted something. His team saw flying spheres. He was ordered by high-ranking officials to dismiss this claim. But here's the problem. No missile fragments were found. No explosion crater. No burns consistent with weapons. Theory 3, infrasound. Wind blowing over the mountain, creating low-frequency sound waves. Infrasound. Humans can't hear it, but it causes extreme panic, nausea, dread, irrational fear. Studies show infrasound can make you feel like you're dying, even when you're not. This could explain why they fled. Cut the tent, ran into the cold, but it doesn't explain the injuries, or the radiation, or the missing soft tissue. Theory 4, hypothermia and SCAV GRS. 6 died from hypothermia. This is confirmed. 3 had severe trauma. The missing eyes and tongue. Scavengers. Animals. The bodies were exposed for weeks. Soft tissue decomposes faster in water. Dubinina was found face down in a stream. The injuries. Maybe they fell. Maybe the snow den collapsed. A massive impact. The radiation. Krivonishenko worked at Mayak, a nuclear facility, the site of the Kyshtym disaster in 1957, one of the worst nuclear accidents in history. His clothing could have been contaminated from work. The others wore his clothes after he died. This is the most rational explanation. But it has holes. Big ones. The injuries don't match a fall. Too symmetrical. Too severe. And why would they leave the tent in the first place? Let's piece together what we know. Just the facts. February 1, 1959. The group camps on Khalat Siekl around 5 p.m. They pitch their tent on a 23-degree slope, about 300 meters from the summit. Something happens that night. We don't know what, but it terrifies them. They cut the tent from inside. 9 people exit, some barefoot, some in socks, most without proper winter clothing. They walk calmly down the slope, not running, walking, for 1.5 kilometers. At the cedar tree, 2 try to start a fire. They climb the tree, looking for something, or trying to see something. They die there. Hypothermia. 3 others try to return to the tent. They don't make it. They die in the snow. 4 others survive longer. They build a shelter, use clothing from the dead, but something causes catastrophic injuries. Crushed chests, broken skulls, without external wounds. These 4 die in the ravine. 3 months later, the Soviet government closes the case. A compelling natural force. That's all they say. The files are classified. The area is restricted. Families get no real answers. Russia reopens the investigation. Public pressure. Families demanding answers. They conclude avalanche. Prosecutor Andrei Kuryakov says it was a heroic struggle. No panic. But they had no chance. Swiss scientists support the avalanche theory with simulations, mathematical models, but experts still disagree. Families still don't believe it. The Dyatlov Foundation keeps pushing. Because here's the thing. Every theory explains some evidence, but none explain it all. The radiation, the injuries, the calm footprints, the missing soft tissue, the fact that experienced hikers made so many mistakes. 66 years later, 9 young people died on that mountain. We have their photos, their diaries, their last moments captured on film, but we still don't know why. So what can you take from this? The Dyatlov Pass incident teaches us something important. Not everything has a neat explanation. Sometimes evidence points in multiple directions. Sometimes the truth is more complex than any single theory. 9 lives were lost. That's not a mystery. That's a tragedy. But what happened to them? That remains one of history's darkest unsolved mysteries. If you want to go deeper into this case, I'll link sources in the description. The actual investigation files, the autopsy reports, the photos. This channel is about uncovering dark history, the stories that don't make sense, the mysteries that keep you up at night. If that's what you're here for, subscribe. There's more coming. And let me know in the comments, what theory do you think fits best? Avalanche? Military testing? Something else? The Dyatlov Pass is still out there. Dead Mountain? Still silent? Still keeping its secrets?